One of the very first ones from this year that I wrote down was quite funny because it actually came to fruition, like to a T almost. So it was about an occult shop. This was March 22nd of 2021. I was with some friends and we were walking through this shop, and it had nothing but diabolical retail items like board games, cards, divination, pendulums, puppets, dolls, etc. And all of which are red, black, maroon, gray, along those lines. But mainly I remember it all being like red and black. Okay? Okay. I can hear myself talking in my ear. It's the weather. So it was meant to look really evil. I'm seeing this wooden traditional devil man doll whose head falls off and changes into a regular man's head. So it's like a marionette puppet, basically. The doll also has a wife, and her head comes off because it's part of like a how do you say, guillotine? You chop off her head and it it goes rolling. So yeah, they look like Nutcracker dolls. Then I see a DVD, and I'm telling my friend that it features like ATRs with Santa Muerte, and in the movie she pops up in her black robe. I'm so freaked out about the Faust devil character because Faustian characters freak me out. Like in a I don't trust you kind of way. So that dream happened back in March. Well, in October I went to go visit some really good friends. You're gonna freak out. Check this out. I can't remember what he said verbatim, but it was along those lines. He took us to a place called the Glass Coffin, and it was exactly like what I saw in this dream. He's like, you're not going to believe it. And I was like, oh my God. It took me a minute as soon as I walked in that place to just absorb everything because they had like vampire related stuff. It was really beautifully themed. Dracula, Lost Boys. They had like Ouija boards. They had like different rooms where you could take photos. It was that organically themed, to look like a horror scene, but very elegant at the same time. They had like animals in jars, and they had, everything that you can think of. Just go on Facebook and look up the Glass Coffin in Austin, Texas, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, that happened. So moving on into April, I had some dreams that we were at my grandparents' house, and a lot of dreams take place at my grandparents' house because I spent a lot of time there when I was younger. And my family was there. They were having like an old-fashioned makeshift house party. And my friends were there, and one of my family members broke out these Mayan statues, and they're like, do you guys know how to evoke like the spirit, the Mayan god spirits? And my friend was like, yeah, but I'm not that great at it. I'm kind of rusty at it, but I can. So basically the dream was around them getting to evoking the spirits, the Mayan gods. So then April 15th, I was sick. I still am sick, but I was really sick. I was like at the height of my sickness, and Santa Muerte popped up in a dream, and she said, use aloe to heal yourself. I didn't know exactly what she meant, so I just got one of the aloe that I have on her altar and inscribed what I wanted to happen, and it seemed to help. But I think what she meant now is ingest aloe. It helps you. It's mainly all water. It's kind of like a diuretic. But it's got its health benefits for sure. People eat aloe all the time. And let me see. Oh, I dreamed that my friend on June 11th. I dreamed that my friend had a satanic cult of women, in whom which were his neophytes. And this is the creepy part. Check this out. He lived with one of my deceased relatives in a trailer, and I baptized myself and my son with blood and a red hand with black nails while he was outside talking to the women. So it was like this severed hand with blood on it, and it had black nails, kind of like Darkness's hand in the movie Legend, the devil character. It looked like his hand. And you would rub blood all over your face, and that was like your baptism. Baptism to what? I don't know. And I also let me see. I remember you'd baptize a child by only running blood at the top of their scalp. Adults were the entire scalp. I thought, I don't know why I'm doing this with my son. This is not my thing, which it's not. This one was just kind of creepy. Here's a look into Janelle's head a little bit. Okay. So June 22nd, the Dragon House. My husband bought this house that belonged to a madman, which my husband liked, apparently. Each room has horrors and was active in its evil energy. One room was covered in mirrors and TVs that displayed horrific ghosts and scenes of murder. One room had a hole in it peering into my son's room that he was poking with a stick. One room's walls crawled with white demons. There was a pool. Okay, there was a pool. My friends showed up and they were familiar with the house as it was a historical building. Outside the house, which turned, after I went outside, it turned into a hotel and an airport full of people. There were hydra heads lining the entranceway. So a hydra is a three-headed type of dragon. I think it has a lion, a lizard, and a falcon or a hawk head. And it had hydras all around the architecture of the door. They would move. But I think they were animatronic. When we went outside without my husband, we began to tour the city street and take pictures at random places like parks and buildings. They had friends along that they were going with and to like clubs and stuff. And let me see. We kept touring the city, but I of course was the odd one out. I'm always the odd one out. It never fails. I'm always the third wheel. But that was June 22nd. And then July 10th, this makes no sense, especially like if you know Spanish, but I had the words, no quites su puede. And I was like, did they mean no quites su poder? Because that means like don't take away your power. But it was no quites su puede. Don't take away, you can. That's kind of what it translates to. July 24th, La Blanca. Her statue face turned and looked at me while holding a joint that I had, that a friend rolled the night before. The reason I think that happened was because I got anxiety from that. Green. Okay. This is August 8th. My son is playing with alligators under his bed. There is a thunderstorm outside and the lights go out. We go to the neighbors and I try to call 911, but I get like number dyslexis and I call 199. So the neighbors call. They have little dogs and I'm afraid for them. They have a pit of alligators under their floor, growling. So pest control is on their way and me and my son wait there. My son wants to play with them and I keep having to stop him. They want him. But I think they want to claim him, not really eat him. Like they want him to belong to them. It was weird. Okay, yes. Thursday, August 12th. Upside down scythe. Vision of her holding her scythe like that in her hand. It was La Negra. So she was holding her scythe upside down like a crescent moon. I later did divination on it the following day, and it was like the exact replica of the Tower card in the Santa Muerte deck. Let me show you. Oh my god, I shit you not. I shit you not. I'm going through the cards, and these two cards are right next to each other. They both have the scythe down. And what do these tell you? If her scythe is down, it's attacking. What does it tell you? One is the Tower, one is the Devil. Well, I guess it tells you obviously that the artist felt a certain way about the scythe being down. So, I got my message from these. What does a scythe mean when it's down? It means it's a tacky time. So, anyways, so I figured that out. And I'm not sure what was going on at the time, but it was on a 13th. It was on a Friday the 13th, by the way. Okay. So anyway. Okay, this one is just kind of funny. August 14th. A Santa Muerte game. I'm telling you, everything that I log is going to be dreams about her, or dreams about the devil, or dreams about ghosts, or dreams about weird ghostly activity. Anyway. I'm at this fair, and there is a machine that I buy that is very cheaply made, but it is a shooting game, I believe. It is a shooting game, I believe. And the figures that you are supposed to grab are Santa Muerte statues. Me and some man are fiddling with it, trying to fix it. And it's different parts, and we set it outside of a room in which people go to that is like an arcade. So we took it out of like an arcade space. Some guy comes up to it and tries to break or steal the little statues. So the man I am with gets into a fight with him and dips his face in some water that was at the bottom of this machine. It has it at its base. And the guy that is disturbing the machine says that he deserves it. But the two men continue to fight, so I go into the grassy area there, because it's like a fairgrounds. So it's like in big, so like there's the so we go into the grassy area. And this girl,
ladies and gentlemen,
who is provoking me, I punch her in the mouth, but in dreams I do it very slow. Hold on. Anyway, so I go to punch her and it's soft and she giggles. I'm like, oh. So I grab her by the mouth and I carry her like a log and throw her. Because apparently in the dream I can do that. Most of my dream was about getting back with an ex. Don't worry, I already told my husband. And then realizing how horrible it was with them and then running back to my husband. But the part I want to mention, was this during a Venus retrograde? Or during a Mercury retrograde? Then realizing how horrible it was and then running back to my husband. But the part I want to mention was going to this shop that was like a small spa in a mall, but offered spiritual services. It was Haitian or Cuban, with a few Mexican bits, like Mexican flair in a peel. And they did intense spiritual cleansing. They had women and even babies getting clean, but they'd bring you into a room and make you make a deal with an African spirit and mark you with white paint on your head and body, and you had to go through an intense possession and herbal wipe down. I saw a woman carrying her baby out. They had me lay on a massage chair, and there was some kind of deity head that looked beastly, like a bear or werewolf, facing me, and I think they wanted me to pray to it, but I got up and decided not to. Hold on. I just saw a video the other day on a TikTok channel called El Cucuy TV, and they show this beast head hanging over a person's curtains in their bedroom, and it has like a long snout, and it has a mane, and it has bells on the paws, on the it's like a protector. It's a spiritual protector that's supposed to eat ghosts, apparently. And there's a video of its mouth snapping like this and the bells ringing, and this little boy runs out of the room screaming. And there's a lot of comments on that TikTok that says it was just doing its job. It's supposed to be like a ghost flight trap, And I was like, what is that? And lo and behold, it was pretty much, in a nutshell, the same as the thing in this dream. Anyways, okay. They wanted me to pray to that thing, but I got up and decided, no, not going to. And the women were laughing and smoking cigars and had head straps, dangling necklaces, and loose long skirts with bangle anklets and bracelets. You could tell they had to deal with exorcisms regularly. But I did not feel possessed, and I don't think they thought I was either. They just laughed as I left, because they had other clients. Then it was back to... Okay. The rest of the dream doesn't matter, but that was cool. Because I just saw a video on that thing and it actually exists and it's actually for protection. Pretty cool. So, okay, yeah, this one's funny. It's simple but funny. September 5th. On one side, I get tattooed just one bite, and on the other side, it won't hurt on the other side. And with little old school fangs, and it's lyrics to a song. And I still have the melody stuck in my head, but I just can't place what freaking song it is. It's like, just one bite, it won't hurt. And it's like, I don't know if it's like a gothic-y song or if it's like, it kind of sounds folkish in a way. It sounds almost Concrete Blonde-ish in a way, but I still can't place it. Maybe somebody watching this will know. Here, that's September 10th. Santa Muerte shows me a scythe that is curly and twisted like a random tree branch, and when she turns the scythe upside down, it ignites a feeling of arousal. I'm not going to say what kind. In me, and when she brings the scythe back up towards her head, the feeling goes away. And I get frustrated because I feel like she's playing with my emotions, so I tell her to stop it. So when she brings it down, it's like... And then when she brings it up, it's like gone. So carnal energy, fighting, passion, up here. I don't know, stagnation, nothing going on. So that was an ugly face. Okay, this is funny. So September 12th, offerings to the devil. He looked like darkness from the movie Legend, and I was prompted by others to give him offerings, so I did, and he was going to help me achieve something. He was sitting on the couch with someone else I know, I think my sister, and he looked at my offerings like they were pathetic, but I accepted them anyway. And then at 5 a.m. that night, I saw a dark shadow exiting my room, like for real. Yeah. He's just this dude. He's just like this regular dude. But he has like devil horns. He has like ram kind of curly horns in a way. And he has long nails, but other than that, he just looks like a guy. And he's just sitting there on the couch like this. And there's a coffee table in front of him. And everybody's like, go, give him something, give him. And I'm like, why? I don't owe him nothing. Like, they're like, just do it. It's like customary, do it. And I'm like, okay, here's some $5 Dollar General crap here. And he's just like, I guess, you know, like a mob boss in a way. And I'm giving him like a quarter of somebody else's payment, you know? And I'm like, dude, never mind. Like, don't even look at me like that. Never mind. I dreamed that somebody I know was redoing some kind of like ritual with me in which they give me certain powers through ritual. He was showing me certain symbols and what they mean. They used the sawed-off cap of a cow skull, so just like the horns. And they drove one of the horns into the concrete of the floor, and the other horn stuck up, and lightning struck it. It struck the other horn. So from there, I transition. I go to a football field, and it's dark. It's always dark. And there's a bunch of African men standing like soldiers, like in uniform. And they were standing guard over the entire field. And then they were telling me, like kind of yelling at me from a distance, but I could hear them perfectly in my ear. The difference between like the color correlations. Like one is green and black, one is yellow and green, one is green and yellow. One is red and black, one is black and red. And what they all mean, and they all mean different things. So I was like, cool. And then my stepdad is with me during the ceremony, and the guy that I'm with starts to do a ceremony for some other woman. And like they get all personal, like, oh, I'll go with you to do the ritual because, you know, we're here in the same city. But me, I was from a different city, so he was like, yeah, go do it in your own city. I was like, not fair. Hello, I came all the way over here. But that's how it happened in the dream. September 18th, 7-color Santa Muerte. The name Escobar 2 ribbons, one white with the name on it, and one green with Santa Muerte's name on it. And she was very happy and loving. So the rest of this dream was... Okay, well, maybe there's correlation here. Let me see. Initially, there was a beautiful bright green bird. We were trying to film, and it came and landed on our property. It had black spots on its body and was huge, long tail feathers, and was very graceful. We had a farm, and it was huge. There was an area in the front that was solely dedicated to all various types of large Santa Muerte statues, and they were placed outside for everyone to admire and to visit. And one of which was calling me to get the ribbons and hang them off of it like Saint Charbel. I actually made a video on this. And it's like this house was like the White House, man. It was huge. And there was all this grassland. And there was little concrete slabs spaced out maybe like 50 feet of each other. And each one had a different Santa Muerte statue. Okay? All the different types, all the different colors, winged, on the horse, the pregnant one, the half skull, half face one, all of them. And they were all spread out so that each person could go to the one that they wanted. Wasn't that generous? Yes, it was. I know. Anyways, so one asked for the ribbons to be hung on her arms like Saint Charbel. If you look up Saint Charbel, you'll see. I just don't know for what. For what reason? The land also had livestock and animals on a grassland between the statue areas, and the house was a marshland that was infested with alligators. So we had to cross that marshland to get inside the house. So me and a little boy are trying to run through the pit of alligators to get inside the house. And it is implied that they are somewhat tamed, but they still try to attack us and run after us. And for some reason, I am holding a little bird and accidentally squeezing the life out of it because it is lighting my way and somewhat looks like a parakeet. But we managed to make it inside the house unscathed. I don't know what my deal was with alligators this year, but yeah. Ooh, September 30th. This one's a little bit of an ego bolsterer, but yeah. Santa Muerte crime scene. Can you tell I'm a little obsessed? Anyways, at a shop with detectives, and all of these animal parts were placed all over the walls in the shop, kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They had jawbones, skulls, various parts covered in blood and written on in blood with various little mini skeleton parts under them arranged in a decorative manner. So like it was like a skull, and attached to it with black wire was all these little tiny little bones hanging off of it, like if it's supposed to be decorative. They covered all the walls in the shop. My friend and her friend are there, but they're too busy getting loud and trying to help solve the crime. I go off on someone because they're being annoying, and they take me aside and they say that at least I'm honest. Okay. There's the psychotherapist from the movie Dexter. From the series Dexter, asked me to review the case, and I tell her that there's bones shaped like a scythe, so it must be done in the name of Santa Muerte. And I've actually created this out of a cow jaw. She and other detectives were quiet, and they pulled me aside to essentially congratulate me for solving the crime. They said I was able to do it because I was neurodivergent. Because in the series Dexter, she acknowledges that something's up with his brain, right? She told me it was a hard adjustment for her. I asked her what she likes to do, and she said, make banana bread. I told her I love that. I love banana bread. She gave me like a certificate for completing the case. We all sat down on the floor and talked. Their certificate asks if I want to thank someone, and I put Santa Muerte. Okay, October 6th. We're almost done, guys. Santa Muerte holding a book in one hand and holding her red robe closed like if it was open in the middle. 3 decorative poof balls hanging in the middle of her robe, and a content look on her face. October 15th, the number 24 kept popping in my head. I saw La Blanca. This is me dreaming. I had some ability to fly, but couldn't fly at that moment. And the rest of the dream is kind of stupid. 24th of October. Alligators! Again! Chasing me while I'm chasing my own animals and my son. No one is helping me. Armageddon type situation. This is fun. November 6th. The day prior, I went into the cemetery and cleaned it up and was trying to like contact somebody. Well, this is that night. I saw 3 black pit bulls guarding some kind of entrance to the netherworld. This one's might be pissing people off, but I'm gonna say it anyway. November 7th, anti-religious. She, Santa Muerte, doesn't want this to be a religion ever. November 11th, Guadalupe Muerte. Waking up a lot and seeing the Guadalupe Muerte. Also, okay, yeah. Okay, I dreamed I also did a reading for a teacher in class, and I was in high school, and I was pacing back and forth channeling Santa Muerte, and she was giving messages, and the last was to give to the dental program because I see teeth in my head. I was like, okay. November 12th, I saw a spider, Montezuma, and smoking mirror. Also the 23rd, holding a papier-mâché black Santa Muerte. Something having to do with connecting to my dad's side of the family. December 5th, red and black Santa Muerte, but I forgot what it was about. The 8th of this month. So, yeah, okay. So we're having this huge family get together in this huge church, all right? And it's some kind of, I don't know, communion or confirmation or something like that, or baptism. And there's like this little altar off on the side, and it's probably like this big. And there's a bunch of stacks of papers, and then each stack of paper has like a cross on it, or the Star of David, or you know, some kind of symbol of religion. But they're all, most of them are all crosses. And what it was each person kind of sponsoring the girl that we're doing the ceremony for has to bring a token of their own faith to kind of educate her, you know, to present where they're coming from spiritually. So they write like a bunch of essays, and then they give like a symbol of that religion or that spirituality. So there's like 5 or 6 other ones, and there's one more spot for mine. And I bring my bust. I have a bust of Santa Muerte that a friend gave me. And I give that as a symbol of my faith. And I think about it for a second, and I'm like, no, I take it back. I'm like, I can't do this. It's just going to cause controversy. It's just going to get me in trouble. It's just going to get them in trouble. They're going to have to answer questions, and it's too much of a headache. If she really wants it, I'll give it to her like in private, you know. And then the other part of the dream was I brought this big life-size orange Santa Muerte into the church, and I was putting this big orange jewel in her chest, and I was like licking it, and then I was like trying to stick it to the chest part. I left the life-size one there, but I took the bust with me. So that was that. December 9th. I have flashes back and forth of black and white Santa Muerte images, like invasive as hell. Like really invasive, like they're blinding me almost. And this is right when I drifted off to sleep, so I'm like still some sort of kind of awake. And then I drift into a dream that I'm dating the celebrity from Let's Go to Prison, the Nazi guy. I'm dating him. And he bought me an SUV. And I know that he's like neglecting his family, like he's hiding his family because like he's in this new relationship. He doesn't want to tell me about his kids yet. So I was like, show me your kids, you know, like I'm a family person. I love kids. Like bring the kids. Let's get to know them. Like maybe they'll get along with my son. I was like, it's no fair that you're paying attention to my son, but not to your own kids. That's not fair. And so he took me to his ex's house, and oh my God. Okay, before I continue, right after the flashes of black and white Santa Muertes, I saw somebody in a black hood, very pale skin. They were overweight. They were a woman, and they had glowing blue eyes, like electric blue eyes. And I could see them like staring at me. So I was like, what's this mean? I'm going to keep an eye out. I'm putting you on the back burner. But let me tell you, when you are a devotee and you do this as a lifestyle, like day in, day out, all the time, people that are going against you for whatever stupid reason, they get exposed. Anyway, so it's nighttime, as always. We approach this. I'm just gonna say it's kind of a ghetto neighborhood. Hey, I grew up in those neighborhoods. You know, whatever. And she's outside with her like roommates or buddies or something like that. They're all sitting on the porch. She walks up to me when we get out of the SUV. It's a red SUV, by the way, of course. And she's like, kind of sort of shake my hand like, and I'm like, hey, what do you want me to do? You know, so all of her tattoos are kind of like ghetto, you know, like you can tell. And so she's dressed like stereotypical like chola, you know, not California chola, more like South Texas chola. Anyways, so them's my people, you know. So I go to the porch and they're sitting at a table and they have all these little Diablito statues lined up in front of them. And it doesn't really indicate what they're there for. I don't know if they're selling them. I don't know if they're paying homage to them. I don't know if they're just playing with them. I don't know what. But they're like the little kinds from Mexico. Anyways, so I was like, okay. And they kind of tried to do what the kids now call a vibe check. They're like, oh yeah, look at these. And I'm like, okay. So? And they're like, oh, you're not like intimidated. I'm like, no. Like, I literally talk about this stuff all day. And they're like, oh, cool, you know. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I walk inside their house and there's all these people laying on like the concrete floor and they're laying on mattresses and they're all sick. I'm talking like their faces are all red, they're all sweaty, they're covered like in boils and pustules and their skin is falling off and they're just like plague-ish, you know? And there's this one that's like really big, like they have no neck. They just look like a flesh sack with a face. Like that thing from Blade. Remember that thing from Blade? There's a vampire from Blade and he was just like all just like one solid hunk of flesh. They look like that, but fleshy colored. And I was like looking all around. I was like, these people are all sick, you know? And what is going on? So it implied that yes, they were sick, but I wasn't seeing their physical characteristics. I was seeing their spirit. I was seeing their inner being. That they were getting eaten from the inside out and they didn't know it. Because on the outside, they're like, I'm fine. Everything's peachy. And I'm like, you're really not. I can see your sickness. And so my son's outside playing with the kids that we came to see. And the kids are sick. And there's these two adults that are kind of like monitors for the children when they play outside. And you can just see like the silhouette of the trees with like street lamps in the background illuminating behind the trees. And you can see the adults like jumping from tree to tree, like weird creatures, you know? All I could see was silhouettes. And so I was like calling my son, get over here, you know, it's time to go. So he came back and he was starting to get sick. He was starting to get sweaty and you could see like little hives breaking out on his neck and on his face. And I was like, no, I'm leaving the whole picture. I am not dealing with this. I don't have to be here if I don't want to. I'm just leaving. Like this whole thing, it just reeks of decay. So I left the guy that I was with. I was like, I don't care if you bought me an SUV. I'm getting the hell out of here. And you can stay here with your ex, which you obviously still seem to have feelings for. And that's cool. Rekindle your relationship with your sick children and your sick ex and all these sick people. I am not going to be a part of it. So we got in the SUV and we left. And that was that. So anyways, so as you've noticed, the majority of the dreams that I wrote down are either about her or them or ghosts. And so they're about this. The majority of the dreams I write down, they're about this. This is my area of study. This is what I'm most focused on. This is what's most important to me. Getting to know all of these entities, all of these spirits, all of these energies, these consciousnesses. That's my ultimate goal, communicating with them. So I see it as a situation in which, even though I don't particularly vibe with those energies, I don't have to. But I do need to, in my spiritual progress, understand them. And I have to comprehend them. And I have to identify them when they are present so that I know what I'm dealing with. Not only for myself, but in the future, potentially for other people, to potentially help them. See, this is where I get into the reading that I had. The reading that I had was with a very good reader. His name's Yamil Enriquez, and you can look him up online. I'll link his contact information below. And normally, you're not really supposed to reveal what your reading is, but I'm okay with it because I already exposed it in a previous video. A portion of the reading that he did it's like a life reading, and it consisted of, I'm not really the type of person that gets my hands dirty doing dirty deeds, okay? That's just not my calling. That's not who I am. That's not what I want, and that's not what I wake up in the morning thinking about. If I have beef, I will likely post a passive-aggressive comment online and be done with it, or I will talk it out with the person. But usually that involves talking it out and saying goodbye, because I have been pushed to the point of no return. So, that's how I handle business. I don't call people out online like that, like unless it's like really bad. Sometimes I have, but I delete it after that because I regret it. I don't go looking for trouble online just because the drama gives me a sense of satisfaction. I don't live to fight. I leave that to other people. That's their job, not mine. I feel like, and I agreed with in this reading, it's indicated my job is to clean up the mess. Ugh, right? To basically get rid of workings, to get rid of witchcraft, to identify it, to remedy it, and to clean it up, and to help the person be preventative so that it doesn't happen again. That's my ultimate mission. And I'm not really supposed to settle on any one area or one religion in particular. I'm supposed to be able to tap on all, because if my job is to clear up malefic works from one tradition, how am I supposed to know what that looks like unless I have that kind of experience in that tradition? So I am supposed to be a floater and supposed to bounce between different ones because of a bigger purpose. And I fully 100% wholeheartedly agreed with that reading. Nothing felt truer than those words. As a matter of fact, let me go get my notes. Hold on. Okay, so another thing was writing a book. I'm not a book writer. I'm not one that's very well versed in the art of the written word, but I can speak. And I've been told that I am especially good at relaying complex messages in a very simplistic manner. But out of nowhere, I got the urge to create a leather-bound journal and log my experiences. So if that was the book that was referenced, then that is indeed in the process. So, hold on. Yeah, so it's been really emphasized that dark magic is an absolute do not. Do not. And I asked the reason, and the reason was, and this is so true, and he couldn't have possibly known this, I become obsessed. I become obsessed with situations. I become obsessed with spirits. I become obsessed with people. I become obsessed with ideals. I become obsessed with everything. And what it really is hyper focus, because I know for a fact I'm ADHD. And when we are interested in something, and we always have to have something new, it can't just be the same old thing, the same old tired thing over and over again. When we encounter something new, we zone in and we learn everything that we possibly can about that one thing until it's completely exhausted. Imagine that being a person. Imagine that being a spiritual working. I mean, I can work for you or against you. I don't know. It's actually helped me. But the malefic stuff is like a no-go. Okay, so yeah, that's it in a nutshell. The other stuff was more specifics that you probably wouldn't care about. But yeah, if I'm to know all of this, it's going to take time. And I cannot be bound to one practice in particular. Sorry, I like my makeup right now. But yeah, so I have to pave my own path. Which is why, and is another reason I'm dead set on, I can't do religion. I can do elements of religion, but I can't do religion. So it's for the betterment. And I am meant to be of service to the people. Now that does not mean I am meant to be broke, people. I think that, it's a trade just like anything else. And just as you would pay a plumber to come and fix your pipes, a spiritual worker deserves just as much compensation. Not as much, but you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, it was an amazing reading. And I do reflect back on it quite a bit from time to time. And I reread the notes that I took. And every person that has had a reading from him has said the same exact thing. As a matter of fact, they want to keep going back to him for more readings. He is currently working at City Alchemist in Austin, Texas. And if you are in the area, I would suggest you go do a reading in person. But if not, I believe he is still doing readings over the phone. And you can contact him on his Instagram. He's also got a YouTube channel called Purgatory Magic. He's very, very, very much an advocate and an enthusiast and a devotee, I guess you could say, to the Anima Sola. So he's actually tapping on a subject matter and is very, very versed on a subject matter that not too many people know a whole lot about. So I would suggest you check him out. Just look up Muertero Yamil or Yamil Enriquez on Facebook and try to book a reading with him. And get ready to have your mind blown. Okay, so that was my plug for Yamil. But thank you, Yamil. But yeah, and also, hello. We're at the end of the video, and thank you for making it this far. If any of you still have questions on Santa Muerte, and you want a class or a course in which you can kind of take at your own speed, I would highly suggest going to cityalchemist.co, or just go to City Alchemist and look up Santa Muerte Crash Course. I've taken it like 3 times, and there's still, every single time I watch it, there's still more information that I didn't get because he just jam packs it with so much information. And that's not even his 6-month course. His 6-month course, oh my God. I would probably have to watch it maybe like each class. I probably have to watch it maybe like 10 times in order just to get all the information, because he just like puts so much information into one video that for you to comprehend all of it is going to take you several times. Definitely bring a pen and paper, or definitely like have a tablet ready to take notes, because it is a lot of info. So I would highly suggest it. I get enthusiastic anytime that he says he's going to do a new class. I'm like, ee! Get so excited. But yeah, he's my mentor. Him and my friend Alex Jin on Facebook are both my mentors. So they have taught me so much over the past, what, guys, if you're watching this, few years? I feel so bad for them because I bombard them with all my questions. So thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you took something out of this. At least I hope you were entertained. And I know it was a long one, but I hadn't uploaded in a little bit, so had a lot to say. I'll see you guys in the next video.